Welcome to the Passive Profits Podcast from StrayBlogger.com, where you'll learn from people already doing it how to build profit-producing online assets without having to leave the house. Now, here's your host, the guy whose biggest fear is having a boss, Nate Rivers.
All right, welcome to the podcast. This is episode 20 of the Passive Profits Podcast. I'm Nate Rivers, and this is StrayBlogger.com. For those of you who don't know, what we're going to talk about today is a Kindle publishing mistake that I made last week that ended up costing me a lot of money, a big sales ranking inside the Kindle store. And it's really stupid that I did this because I had a warning and I just went with it anyways. I was trying to get this promotion set up and just done. I did some preparation for it. Anyways, I'll get into what I'm talking about here in a second. I'll tell you exactly what happened. First, I want to read one of these 5-star reviews from iTunes. If you've gone to iTunes and found the podcast, you can search Stray Blogger or Passive Profits Podcast, or you can search Nate Rivers. You'll find the podcast and leave a review. I would love that. So Ozadale said, love this guy. He shares so much info. Some of it is really out of the box. First found his website and it's awesome. Just wish he would make a new podcast a little bit more frequently. I already listened to all of them, many of them twice. Keep it up, Nate. So thank you, Ozadale, for that review. I love seeing those reviews. And I will. I'm going to start podcasting more, making more episodes. And one more thing before we get into this, we're going to go to a reader question. This reader asked... They asked a bunch of stuff, but this was essentially the question. How can I know that the system I'm following isn't going to be obsolete in 6 months? That's a great question, and I know that this exact idea in its different forms is what paralyzes a lot of people from actually, taking action and working hard in their business every single day. The common thing that people do is they'll get excited about a certain program or format or some model that they're going to try, and they'll work on it for maybe a week or so and not see immediate results and start wondering, okay, the reason they start going back and reading more sales pages and buying more courses and things like that is because really it comes down to this question. They're worrying in the back of their mind. Am I spending a bunch of time doing something that's not going to lead to anywhere? So my answer to this question is, earlier this year I just kind of had this realization that there are basic things online, and it's really just general business principles that you need to follow, and it's basically back to the basics approach. You need to have something that you sell, and you need prospects that you turn into customers. And as far as online goes, the easiest way to do that is starting out with a Kindle ebook and building an email list. Those things will, I can't say never go away, but those are things that are going to be around for years and years and years. And building an email list, that is I could talk about 10 or 15 different reasons why you should do that. But it's an asset that you own, that you control. It's push button traffic, and it's the easiest way. That's the path of least resistance to turn a prospect into a paying customer, because you follow up with them, remarket to them over and over, help them see you as someone they should trust and buy things from, take advice from. So it's a back to the basics approach. Having your own product and building an email list, and your website is kind of the communication channel. You send emails, let them know about new blog posts, things like that. So the website's kind of your home base. So let's get into this little issue I had. So last week I made a huge mistake. It ended up costing me a lot of money. What happened was I was running a Kindle countdown promo for one of my books. I don't really use the free promos anymore. You have to choose between a countdown promo or a free, where you make your book free for a while. the Kindle Countdown, I admit, to make these, well, you will see a little spike in sales, but it's not going to be crazy. But if you have a list, which I do for these certain Kindle books I'm talking about, I have, I think, like 5 or 6 books on this certain topic. And kind of my strategy is every week or two, I put a new one on for 99 cents that are normally $2.99. And I just email my list about it several times. So what happened was I made some changes to the book before the promo. I re-uploaded it in the Kindle, publishing interface thing. And when I did that, it said no spelling errors or anything. And a lot of times I don't even do this because I've just gotten used to having my Word document that I upload and everything's been fine. I've never had a problem with this. So I uploaded this. I went to look at it in the previewer, and for the Kindle Fire preview, it showed like all the text was smushed over onto the left column into like one letter per line. So it looked really weird. The text was all messed up. That's what I'm trying to say. And so I clicked on like an iPhone, I clicked on an Android preview, I clicked on the regular Kindle or the Paperwhite thing, and they all looked fine. So I thought, okay, that's fine. So I published it. Within 12 hours, I got the email. It was up for sale, the revised version. So the next morning, the price went to 99 cents. This countdown started. And I'd emailed my list a couple times over a few days. The promo was doing awesome. So it shot my book up into the top 4,000 paid on Kindle. And it was getting a bunch of downloads each day. And these are, they're 99 cents, but they're still paid downloads. And the reason this is better is because you're still in the paid Kindle rankings. The free rankings, those don't correspond to like real sales after your promo's over anymore. You have to get a ton of downloads for that to make any difference anymore. And so the countdown deal works better because it will just send your book up the actual just regular paid rankings. So I'd gotten this book into the top 4,000 with these emails and putting it at 99 cents. Then I got this notice from Amazon that my book was taken down because of an error. And it said it was going to be unavailable for sale till I got this error fixed. So right around there, it was like, I don't know, in the top 4,000 or 5,000. But it was unavailable all night. Let's see. I got this notice in the morning. So I'm not even sure when it went unavailable, probably the night before. So it was unavailable. So I hurried and fixed it. It took me a while to figure out what was wrong. And basically I had the document in Pages for Mac, and I exported as a Word doc and immediately uploaded it. I didn't look at it. And it looked fine once I reopened it in Word later, but the margins were 1.25 inches left and right in the Pages document, and I changed them back to 1 inch like the Kindle formatting guide said online, and that fixed it. Whatever the issue was, that fixed it. So I re-uploaded it. It took another 12 hours, so it was basically unavailable for a little over 24 hours, I think. And being unavailable, it couldn't be bought at all. So it dropped into the 15,000s and then the 20,000s. So overall, the promotion still helped the book, but it would have slowly, your books will pretty much always slowly go down in the rankings at this point because there's so much competition, but it would have stayed in the top 10,000 for several weeks because I've done this before. So the takeaway is always check your book in all versions of the previewer, and the last thing, it doesn't matter what you write it in, but check your book in Microsoft Word at the end before you upload the .doc, the document, and check it against Kindle's, recommended formatting guidelines. So that's it for this episode. For more tips and stuff like this. If you like this kind of stuff, go back to strayblogger.com, opt into the email form. I send my best stuff through the email, let you know about new content through that. So get on the newsletter, on my list, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, I would love it if you went to iTunes, found the podcast, type in Stray Blogger or Nate Rivers, and leave a review. Thanks for listening.